Good evening, everybody. This is volume 4 of the Bayer Psalter, beginning with Psalm 71. It's Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. It's 7:08 p.m. I feel so frustrated right now. I just want to actually, before we get into the Psalter, I'm going to say a few things about this. I was thinking about whether or not, I was making some hot cocoa when I woke up. I was thinking about whether or not I was going to say anything about this. It's interesting because the Psalms mirror my feelings right now in so many different ways. I'm really pissed off right now, and I'm really resentful. A little at God, yeah, believe it or not, but not in that way that's like, right, I'm still doing a video on the Psalms, you know what I mean? Obviously, so I'm not I'm not so mad at God that, like, I don't want anything to do with God, but I'm really, you know what I mean? Like when you're mad at somebody you love. Is how I'm really frustrated with God right now for doing what he did to me today. Let me just explain it in my mind, because this has been my whole life. My whole life has been, this is the story of my life, and now you're going to get to hear a little bit about it, and it really gets me angry, and I feel humiliated, I feel mad. Earlier today, of course, now at 10 o'clock in the morning, the Lord convinces me it's a great idea to have a beer during a psalm, and I'm like, all right, because there's only one in the house anyway. I mean, it's not like he's not going to get me drunk or something while I'm reading the Psalms, and I was like, what it was this. I didn't really think too much about it, because the Lord wanted me to have a beer last night, too, and I was like, I fought again. I was like, I don't want it. I don't need it. Why do I need a beer right now? I have no idea. Because, like, I was going through old pictures last night. And for nostalgia. And I thought, because I was looking at pictures of me drinking beer. And I thought, no. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And the Lord let me not do it. And I was like, good. We got my wine and other stuff, and that's fine. And so today compels me much more strongly to the point where I could not say no, and so I had the beer, right? And that's fine. So I had the beer, and that, I think it was the second volume, and by the time it was gone, I already went back to my coffee, and then I had my lunch, and I began to feel, as you could tell in my last video, I began to feel not great. I began to feel tired. I wasn't feeling ill. I was feeling like tired. I don't know if you noticed, some of my reading was starting to get not. Like it was almost like fatigue. I don't know if you could tell how much you could tell that, but I could tell it. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna lay down for like an hour. I think I texted Coulter and I was like, I'm a little tired. So after lunch, I did that. I got up to I went as far as I could. I wanted to quit before I read to Psalm 70, but I went to 70 and I said, all right, I'm gonna take a little break. Well, then I wake up about an hour ago. Not enough, and I'm thinking, I want to get up and finish the Psalms, but the Lord is clearly not giving me the energy to get up out of bed at that time. But enough to know, you know what I mean, to put in my head what I hadn't done, and how it all looked on camera to everybody. You know what I mean? Here I am, I'm having a beer, an addict and someone that has a history of heavy drinking, has a beer, is going to read the Psalter, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone now, all of a sudden, for like 6 hours. What happened? And that just burns the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? Because here I am, and I have this religious devotion. I say, Lord, I'm going to read the Psalms for you all day. You know what I mean? I'm going to pray the Psalter, and I ask for the grace to do it, and that's what the fuck I get. That has been my entire life. I haven't been able to hold jobs because of this kind of shit. I didn't, there was no money to drink, and I have coronavirus. I've been at home all day. I've been in bed, and it also burns me that there's some friggin' alcoholic assholes out there that are not going to believe that, because that's kind of shit that they would do. I don't do that, okay? I put it all out there. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck. Because I don't give a fuck about your opinion, all right? Because honestly, 9 times out of 10, the shit I do is better than you anyway. So I don't have to worry about it. Because you know what? If I went out and I got a 6-pack and I got loaded anyway, I'd still fucking look better than you doing it. So I don't need to lie about your shit. So fuck off. The Psalms right there. Seriously, honestly, that's the fucking, and that's how I feel right now. But that's what's awesome about these books, because when we read this is what you're going to hear in here, basically, without the modern, the language. But you're going to hear that kind of frustration. We've already read a few Psalms where people were like, how long are you going to do this to me, Lord? How long are you going to humiliate me in front of people? This is why I love the Psalms, because when I feel like this, I turn to this book right here, and I have words that give voice to my grief. But I'm still so embarrassed because I still feel like people are, you know what I mean? It upsets me because I live my life. My life is devoted to Christ, and it's like he won't let me do it. It pisses me off. There are some people that can pray rosaries like all friggin' day. I was at church a week ago, and I'm listening to Father Driscoll talk about Saint Rose. I forget her last name. She's a French last name or whatever, But now, okay, granted that these are mythical stories, but there are people that do this where this kind of stuff happens, and I have no reason to believe it didn't happen with Saint Rose. Is that when she was praying, the kids would put the rose petals on her habit, and then go away or whatever to see if she had moved, because she would fucking sit all night and pray all night without moving. And I have my entire life wanted to have that kind of devotion, and the Lord has not given me the grace to do it, and it pisses me off. Instead, what do I get? I get being a drug addict who fucking can't hold a job, who doesn't look like he's devout on the outside, and it hurts. And it also scares the shit out of me that if the Lord wants to make me go over there right now and buy that six and get fucking obliterated, there's not a goddamn thing I can do about it. It's by his grace that I'm sitting here right now, not high, not drunk. And nothing more than that. It has nothing to do with character. It has nothing to do with anything else. I gotta say, I do pray about my preaching, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm getting that, but holy shit. But it gets me mad, and I'm so glad, I'm thankful, honestly, right now, because I know how articulate this is, and I'm thanking God as I'm saying this, because I'm like, ooh, thank you at least for letting me be real and get out my frustrations in a way that are understandable, instead of me just being, you know what I mean? I'm not just shouting a wall of profanity that nobody can understand what, you know what I mean? Like, what's he saying? What's he saying? Thank you, Lord. Thank you for that. Oh, my God. But I cannot tell you, and I know that I must not be the only person out there that's dealing with this, but it is so embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. I can't even, the last time I prayed a rosary was when I think I know I mentioned it when I did, or maybe, no. Well, yeah, full rosary, that. And that pains me so much, because I want to be able to do the, I don't know why he doesn't give me grace for that. I pray about it all the time. I know he gives me other graces, and I'm thankful for that, But, when I was talking about not getting mad at God, I get this kind of mad at God. I do. But I'm not cursing God. God, still, I have a lot to be thankful for. I have a lot. And I never forget that, by his grace. It's not something I can take credit for. It's not something I can take credit for. I don't understand. I know it's true because I read the Bible, and I know that the Lord afflicts those most devoted to him all the fucking time. But when it happens to you, you get a little pissed. At times, even though you know what I mean, I accept it. I'm like, oh, okay, I can, because a lot of times when you have a paradigm in the Bible for your suffering, it makes it a lot easier. You're like, oh, okay, I see. Abraham had to go through that, and you know what I mean. And it does help. It really does. But sometimes, it doesn't help all the time, because the Lord makes sure that it doesn't help you all the time. Because the problem is that if he doesn't make you, you know what I mean. If your intent is, if he needs you to suffer, then he needs you to suffer. And that, that means sans the comfort of being like, oh, wow, Abraham went through that. I can get through that. He'll give you that, and he gives you that a lot, but you can't go through that all the time because that's not, you're not suffering too much if you've got that. I've learned. That's why the Lord, there was a time wouldn't even let me pick up, I mentioned this, wouldn't even let me pick up the Bible or the Psalter here. Lord puts me in prayerful places sometimes, and then other times I cannot tell you the state of mind. I'm so resentful. But the state of mind He put me in to read that Psalter today, I've been in so many more prayerful places, and it seems like whenever I want to do something good for the Lord, whenever I'm excited, not just to do it because I want to make you, not just because I want, but because if you couldn't tell, okay, I'm a person that enjoys being involved for its own sake in the practice of my faith. So, it's my pleasure, and then literally does almost everything to I'm still doing it, you know what I mean? But it's almost like there used to be a saint I remember hearing about who, and I'm wondering, because I don't mind doing this at all, but they say that he used to take all of his food together on his plate, take his food, and then put it all together and mash it up so that way it would remove as much enjoyment from the taste as possible while still eating it. So you get sustenance out of it, but not enjoy it. Well, I'm like, I eat shepherd's pie, and I'm honestly that, but I get the idea. And it seems like that's what the Lord did to me today with Psalter. Literally as much, it's like, give me the will and the ability to still do it. And then coupled with the fact that, oh my God, Jonathan Edwards hanging by a thread. You know what I mean? Jonathan Edwards talks about it in his sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, how we are fucking hanging by a thread over total depravity. Over that. And it's true. It is absolutely true. And that is scary as shit. I'm going to tell you the truth. You don't have free will. You have the feeling of free will. You have the feeling, and I thank God for it too. Sometimes we need it. I guess He tells us that we need it. And there's a priest I'm thinking of right now who I am not happy with, and I'm pulling the weatherman anchor thing with him, unfortunately, right now, because I can't read his mind. I don't know. But I just imagine him, if he were watching my videos, we didn't see him today, so he probably went out and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm not going to mention his name, because it's not fair, because it's my own shit, it's not his. But it just, but he's the type that would do that. And it's not, just to make it, just so, it's not Father Driscoll it's not any priest who I've had contact with for quite some time. It's a priest that's not even in the state. And again, it's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? It's me projecting. And so, and that's not fair. So I'm not going to, there have been times where I have made that mistake. I've been so mad, and boom, and I do say the guy's name, and but God's given me the grace right now to realize, where I am angry and I'm frustrated with my own insecurities, my own problems, my own afflictions, and I'm playing them out on someone else in some way. Whether or not in some way it may be true or not, but it's both. You know what I mean? If I wasn't going through this shit right now, I wouldn't feel the need to call him out. You know what I mean? So thank God for that. But I want to be like Nicholas Ferrar, I want to be like the monks of the abbey that I tried to join, and they had to turn me away. And good thing that they did. I've wanted to become a priest most of my life, and I can't do it because of things like this. This is the closest thing I get. And I understand that. God's making clear to me my ministry, because there's a lot of things I couldn't do if I were a priest. I understand that clearly now, and I'm even thankful for that. I wouldn't now I technically wouldn't want to be a priest at this point, really, because I wouldn't be able to do things like be as real as I am in my videos. You know what I mean? And it's not that priests are being fake. You have to understand that too. Those of you that need this explanation, it's not that priests are being fake. It's I'm trying to think. You can't make like dick jokes, okay, in your prayer video when it's your work like that in a formal organization. You know what I mean? You can't be a Catholic priest and doing some of the things you just can't. It's not that they're being fake, but it's weird. It's like, why not? In a way, it's like this guy's the most real guy in the world. You know what I mean? We need to hear the gospel this way, but yet I can't. You know what I mean? I intrinsically understand why they can't do that as priests in the church. And they, I'm sure, intrinsically understand that too. But privately, you know what I mean? A lot of these guys, a lot of these guys are real as I am. And it's weird that things are like that. It's the way of the world. But it also is not a bad thing either. It's also got its place. Remember, God has ordained everything. You know what I mean? But the Lord, it's interesting because the Lord had me woke me up this morning at 4. I don't know what it is about the Lord waking people up at odd times. He likes to do it. It's in the Bible. It's the most. I'm like, I laughed about it this morning with him because I wasn't pissed. This morning I was kind of like, all right, because other times he's woken me up when I'm not feeling. It's like you're not happy. You know what I mean? It reminds me of Jonah in the whale. I think is who I'm thinking, or is that it? Yeah, when Jonah's not feeling well, and anyway. But I don't know why the Lord does. I don't know why the Lord can't get you when you're feeling good at 3 p.m. Why not? Because He makes you feel the way you do anyway. It's not like He has to wait for you to be in a good mood or wait for you to. He gives you everything to have it, so it can be technically at any time. Why not? You know what I mean? Why can't it be when I'm sitting here with a cup of hot cocoa? Given the grace to read a book, because I love to read and I can't fucking read, and it's another thing that pisses me off. Thank God, though, He's easier on me. He does give me things as I go along. I guess this is going to be a sermon video instead of a psalm video. So, all right. This is good too. I'm okay with that because this does need to be said. I've been wanting to say this for a very long time. To help people out and to also to make me feel vindicated. A little bit, because this is, and there's some people that are still not going to believe me. And to those people, you aren't even watching by this point anyway, so fuck you all. But I've said it, and I've gotten it out, and I feel good. Not so much, I'm not so worried that you believe it, but because I know it's true, and the Lord knows it's true, and it's been put out there, I feel good. That's enough for me. I don't need, you know what I mean? I don't need any more than that, because He allows me not to need more than that. So... But I'm going to tell you right now, and the Lord just told me to say this, and if it doesn't happen, well, by His grace it didn't. But if I have anything to say about it, and I don't, that's the truth. Other days you're going to hear me say, if I have anything to say about it, and I do. But, the truth is no, not really. Yes and no. No. Ultimately, no. It's a mystery. It is the mystery. Mysterium Fidei. Mystery of faith. It's the mystery of faith. We don't have anything to say about it. I talk to God all the time. I'm jumping to this now, I guess. I talk to God all the time and ask about this. I'm like, is there a me? I don't want to get into this because this is a very scary topic, actually. It doesn't scare me, but I think it unsettles, I think, things. It fucks with the status quo, quite honestly. But it's not. It's a very old argument, and I'm like, what is me really? Then, because we are extensions of God. In fact, I don't. There is no Justin's will really. I've been learning with my relationship with God, because now those of you that have not had the kind of direction, the kind of compelling act, the kind of control of everything that God has made very clear to me that He does. Those of you that have not had that, of course you're going to doubt it. I would too. I did. There's nothing else you can do but that. I lived a life where my faith was like John Dominic Crossan's faith, like literally, like where, Jesus, it's the thought, and then you get the fucking Moses shit going on, and then you know that it is not like John Dominic Crossan's, just like John Dominic Crossan's faith. But the Lord has, for John Dominic Crossan, that's His will for him. And I gotta tell you, at times, John Dominic Crossan's life looks goddamn good to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to be an academic. You know, and just have a life that is not interrupted by shit all the time like I have. I'm sure so did Jesus. I'm sure so did a lot of great people. Jesus, Gandhi, me. And I'm not trying to do that. But I'm trying to identify again. Like, we're supposed to identify. Believe me, if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong. You need to do that. That's what it is there for. It is there for you to identify in your suffering. And I do it. And it helps when I'm allowed to. I'm going to upload this right now. I don't know if we're going to read any more Psalms tonight. I don't know. I'm going to drink another cup of hot cocoa. I'm going to talk to the Lord a little bit here. And I don't know. Right now I'm feeling that we're probably not going to. And if I do, it's probably only going to be a few. But we're going to continue because the goal is not lost. I want to pray the Psalter continuously all the way through. I've never done that. Even if I can't do it in a day, it's still worth doing. Never, ever would I just say, fuck it, when it comes to the Lord. If I can help it, saying he's good. I hope, let's just be together on this one, please. Don't embarrass me. Don't destroy my morale, please. Please, I know that you're with me, and I know it's going to be okay, but I want to pray the Psalter all the way through, please. Amen. So, that's what we're going to do. The plan is to do that because I still want to know how long it's going to take. And I'll be able to total up my videos, excluding this one, total up the videos to see how long it took to pray. Even if, God forbid, it takes 3 days, I'll be able to still total up the videos of my straight reading right through because I haven't stopped and done this kind of stuff in any of them so far. And I plan not to for that very reason, to keep my comments to a minimum. And so then I'll know. Then I'll be able to total it up. And then, of course, I would love to be able to do a better reading. But the point is not to have a great reading where you sound like Richard Kiley doing a great reading of the Psalter. Okay, that's the first name that came to mind because I was thinking of Jurassic Park. But to do it, and to do it devotedly, and to do it with the best, you know what I mean, with all your heart. Anyway, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship be with you all evermore. Have a very good night. Please pray for me, and I'm praying for you, okay? And we may be back here with some more Psalms tonight. Maybe not. But we'll continue and get through the entire Psalter with God's help.